The Sylvan ruins hid many ancient secrets, but Aura the Azure Sprite sought only lingering mana.
Deep within the forgotten elven courtyard, an anomaly disturbed the natural order of the forest.
By the ancient roots, this is no ordinary forest creature's spawn.
The sheer radiant heat from the mysterious obsidian egg warned Aura of an immense, dormant power. Even the apex predators of the Sylvan Woods knew better than to approach a dragon's domain.
It's freezing on the surface, despite the radiant heat. You need warmth, little one.
Aura instinctively poured her own Sylvan life force into the thick, freezing shell. The magical incubation triggered an irreversible and volatile chain reaction deep within the core. She hastily constructed a thermal barrier using ancient Sylvan vines to stabilize the rapid hatching process.
Whatever you are in there, you better not be a goblin. I hate goblins.
As dawn approached, the massive influx of Sylvan energy finally pushed the ancient egg to its breaking point.
Nope! Not today! The big, bad, scaly things are waking up! I'm out of here!
Oh, no, no, no! That is way too much energy for a single hatchling! Containment ward now!
The birth of a supreme creature always demands a heavy toll from the surrounding environment. Aura exhausted every ounce of her mana to prevent the courtyard from being entirely vaporized. The obsidian prison shattered, unleashing the terrifying apex predator forged within the geothermal depths.
Why the eternal springs? What kind of monster did I just release into this world?
Instead of a legendary world ender, the ruins welcomed whatever this evolutionary mistake was supposed to be.
I risked my entire life for a slimy, oversized swamp chicken? Are you kidding me? Don't just lay there and eat dirt. Stand up, you miserable little mistake. Stop following me. You belong in a swamp, not a magical sanctuary. Go find a mud puddle.
Abandoned to its own devices, the clueless hatchling immediately sought out the most dangerous distractions. The Sylvan Woods harbored ancient carnivorous flora that preyed specifically on the weak and the foolish.
Are you actively trying to get yourself digested? Keep your disgusting snout away from the glowing things.
The violent magical outburst and subsequent shouting did not go unnoticed by the vigilant guardians of the grove.
Quiet. If the Border Patrol sees a fortress beast here, they will execute us both on sight.
Hiding a naturally chaotic creature required a miracle, and Aura was severely lacking in miracles. Fortunately for the terrified sprite, the elite guards were searching for a massive dragon, not a pathetic lump.
That was far too close. If they caught us, they would have turned me into target practice.
Spit that out! Oh, great ancestors, I am literally gonna have to spoon-feed a monster!
Move your heavy, stubby legs. If we stay here, we both end up as arrow cushions.
The patrol quickly deduced that a heavily armored beast of the swamplands had breached their sacred borders.
Oh, absolutely not! The stench alone is a biological weapon. We are finding another route immediately.
The boundary between the elven woods and the savage marshlands was a treacherous zone of stagnation and rot.
Despite its Sylvan birthplace, the creature instinctively fully embraced the filthy habitat of its ancestors. Lurking perfectly still within the poisonous fog, the apex ambush predators waited patiently for a foolish victim. Driven purely by a bottomless stomach, the blind hatchling confidently approached a highly venomous amphibian.
No! Do not eat the glowing purple warts! Are you trying to poison yourself on purpose?
Startled by the chaotic magical intervention, the massive swamp dweller chose immediate retreat over a meal.
I am a guardian of the high canopy. I smell like a rotting corpse. I hate my life.
Stop looking at me like that! I am a forest sprite, not a magical meat dispenser!
The indigenous lizardmen relied entirely on their masterful camouflage and brutal snares to survive the harsh environment.
Just eat the bug. It is full of protein. Stop being so incredibly picky right now.
Squeak!
Evidence of hostile settlements littered the swamp, serving as a grim warning to any trespassing sylvan creatures.
Lacking any form of maternal instruction, the young beast relied purely on its tragically flawed instincts.
Wait, did you just breathe smoke? That means you actually have a breath weapon developing inside you?
The concealed mechanism executed its lethal design flawlessly, capturing the heavy prize in a fraction of a second.
Hold on! I am not letting you become swamp lizard dinner today!
The swamp hunter recognized the blue flash immediately. Sylvan magic had trespassed into his domain.
Take one step closer, lizard, and I will boil the water inside your very veins! Ah! Back off! I have enough raw Sylvan mana to burn this entire rotting marsh to ashes!
To the native hunters of the fortress borders, Sylvan magic was not a threat, but merely a challenge.
No! You incredibly heavy idiot! Stop squirming and grab my hand right now!
Oblivious to the deadly peril, the absurd creature inadvertently weaponized the environment against its own predator.
With her mana completely depleted, the delicate guardian prepared to meet a highly violent end. A simple sneeze, fueled entirely by highly flammable swamp gas, created a localized tactical catastrophe. The apex ambush predator was instantly neutralized by an entirely accidental and completely ridiculous display of firepower. In the heavily smoking aftermath, the terrified fairy completely reevaluated the absurd creature she had hatched. The traumatized hunter swore to absolutely never hunt the dangerous blue fairies of the borderlands ever again.
All right, you incredibly destructive little mistake. I suppose you are actually useful for something after all.
As night consumed the marshlands, finding immediate shelter became the absolute highest priority for survival. The undisputed tyrant of the fortress mud emerged from the darkness, hunting by the scent of pure magic.
Get completely inside, and do not make a single sound! Something incredibly massive is out there!
The Gorgon possessed a supernatural ability to completely track the delicate magical signatures of foreign creatures.
Quiet! If that massive iron deathbolt simply looks at us, we turn instantly to solid stone!
The hatchling's entirely insatiable appetite severely compromised their fragile concealment at the absolute worst possible moment. Hearing the faint sound, the heavily armored titan aggressively locked onto its deeply terrified prey.
Follow the incredibly shiny light, you entirely overgrown, completely over-armored cow! Get far away from my tree!
Fooled completely by the simple Sylvan illusion, the massive brute aggressively chased a phantom into the dark marsh.
We actually survived the day. Tomorrow, I am absolutely definitely putting a heavy physical leash on you, swamp chicken.
After yesterday's explosive performance, you are staying firmly attached to my wrist at all times. Whistles!
While the forest guardian prepared for the journey, the native cold-blooded terrors were already awakening to hunt.
Walk! I am begging you, just use your useless little legs and walk!
The hostile environment offered no sympathy, swallowing every tiny, insignificant cry for help.
The ravenous hatchling suddenly found an incredibly powerful motivation to actually use its legs.
Stealing food from a lesser creature was a common swamp tactic, but stealing from a basilisk was pure suicide.
Stop right now! Look at the size of that thing! We need to retreat! We need to retreat!
The basilisk did not tolerate scavengers, especially not loud, clumsy ones. Lacking any natural sense of fear, the hatchling rudely demanded a share of the apex predator's meal.
Run! I just blinded a basilisk, and it is going to be incredibly angry when it recovers! Ah! Do not fight the leash! If that giant venomous lizard catches us, we are both becoming swamp fertilizer!
Temporarily blinded but immensely enraged, the apex predator immediately abandoned its meal to actively hunt the insolent thieves.
Watch your oversized feet! This entire field is a massive, boiling death trap waiting to melt us!
The six-legged terror moved with an unnatural, horrifying agility, easily traversing the deep sludge that severely hindered its prey.
Brace yourself! We are completely surrounded by active vents. Just keep sliding forward!
The geothermal fields were a highly volatile nightmare, capable of boiling an armored knight alive within mere seconds.
The magical tether, intended to completely control the reckless beast, quickly became a highly dangerous anchor, pulling the fairy toward her doom.
With its prey hopelessly trapped on the slippery edge, the basilisk perfectly calculated its final, absolutely lethal trajectory.
Not today, you overgrown swamp toad. We are leaving this highly disgusting mud pit right now. Ah!
By the ancient roots, you actually from the highest, most dangerous...
The ancestral breeding grounds of the apex aerial predators offered absolutely no safe passage for terrestrial travelers.
Go down! You are gonna drag us both directly off a cliff edge before we even start!
Opportunistic scavengers constantly roamed the lower ledges, eager to steal vulnerable hatchlings from the unprotected nests.
Hold your breath. Do you have any idea what kind of monsters are guarding this mountain?
The echoing hiccup immediately compromised their hidden position, alerting a highly trained and merciless native assassin. Just as she prepared her desperate counterattack, the sky itself seemed to violently block out the sun. The undisputed rulers of the swamp skies demanded absolute submission from everything crawling in the mud below. In the presence of the true monarch, all petty territorial disputes were instantly abandoned for simple survival.
That is your mother, and we have to climb all the way up there to return you. Keep your heavy belly flat against the wall. One slip and we both fall 1,000 feet.
The Obsidian Mountain was a vertical graveyard, designed by nature to ruthlessly eliminate the weak.
I told you to hug the wall. Hold entirely still, you incredibly heavy sack of swamp rocks.
The commotion instantly attracted the vile scavengers of the peaks, drawn completely by the promise of an easy meal.
Stay entirely away from my incredibly annoying monster. Find your own rotten dinner.
The tiny sanctuary offered a brief, highly desperate respite from the relentless vertical nightmare.
Every falling stone was a terrifying physical reminder of the lethal gravity pulling constantly at their tired bodies.
Are you actively trying to completely roast me alive? Keep your deeply dangerous sneezes entirely to yourself.
The true monarchs of the cliff had returned, severely drastically shortening the time left to complete the perilous delivery.
The adults are returning to the nests. If we are caught on this highly exposed wall, we are dead. Move!
Oblivious to the tiny intruders below, the undisputed monarch navigated the deadly storm with absolute mastery.
There it is! The biggest, ugliest pile of sticks I have ever seen! You are finally home!
Reaching the ancestral nesting grounds felt like an impossible victory against the ruthless laws of nature.
The high peaks were a realm of pure elemental chaos, highly lethal to any creature lacking armored scales.
All right, you bottomless pit of chaos. Go find your real mother before I change my mind.
Even in the face of absolute elemental fury, the hatchling maintained its legendary lack of basic coordination.
The bittersweet farewell was abruptly cancelled by a harsh reminder of the ruthless wyvern hierarchy.
Survival in the nest demanded sheer brutality, and the dominant alpha hatchling recognized absolutely no familial bonds.
Oh, no, you do not! I did not drag this idiot through a boiling swamp just for you to eat him! Back! Stand back! I will not let you murder your own sibling over a pile of wet sticks!
The dominant hatchling possessed an unbreakable killer instinct, refusing to yield its ancestral territory to anyone.
Unaware of the chaotic battle in her nest, the colossal mother rapidly plummeted from the stormy heavens. The volatile Sylvan artifact was designed to instantly incapacitate any organic creature within 20 yards. In a deeply ironic twist of fate, the clumsy beast's terrible allergies accidentally executed a flawless tactical interception.
No! You absolute fool! You nearly blew us all up! Come here, we have to hide immediately! May the ancient trees protect your thick, empty skull! Goodbye, you ridiculous swamp chicken!
The fearsome monarch returned to find her brutal alpha paralyzed, while the missing runt joyfully welcomed her home.
Against all logical odds and natural laws, the fragile guardian had survived the ultimate delivery.
My mana is completely drained. I have to rely entirely on thermal gliding to reach the forest border alive.
The lingering scent of Sylvan magic puzzled the ancient monarch, but the miraculous return of her hatchlong erased her fury.
The wind is too strong! I cannot hold this altitude! Brace for impact!
As quickly as the elemental fury had arrived, the high peaks began to violently shed the tempest.
A hidden aquifer. The ancient texts mention subterranean rivers flowing entirely beneath the fortress mountains.
Hidden deep beneath the hostile obsidian peaks lay ancient arteries of pure, untainted Sylvan magic.
The pure subterranean waters actively washed away the toxic rot of the swamp, restoring her deeply exhausted spirit.
I can see the canopy! I am finally leaving this miserable mountain behind forever!
At the edge of the great woods, the vigilant guardians observed the clearing storm upon the distant cursed peaks.
By the eternal springs! I have never been so incredibly deeply happy to see green leaves in my life.
Crossing the sacred threshold of her homeland, the weary guardian finally allowed herself to feel safe.
The formidable border guards stood down, acknowledging the quiet triumph of a mission accomplished.
May the roots protect you, brave guardian. It is wonderfully good to be home.
Even the oldest spirits of the woods stirred, feeling the familiar magical harmony return to the grove. The sacred waters offered the ultimate purification, washing away the physical and mental scars of the perilous journey.
Never again. I am absolutely never leaving this forest again.
Miles away, the chaotic little creature finally found its rightful place beneath the wing of a terrifying mother. Secure within her arboreal sanctuary, the exhausted fairy finally allowed herself to rest.
The ancient ruins, once the epicenter of chaos, reclaimed their quiet dignity beneath the starry sky.
Good night, little monster. Stay out of trouble.